Welcome to the Get Published podcast, sponsored by Brodie Consulting Group. To get more information about our coaching, publishing, executive ghostwriting, and podcast production services, go to getpublishedpodcast.com. Hello, I am Paul Brodie, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Get Published podcast, where we help authors get published with a proven system that works. And today, we're being joined by Jerrod Hardy, author of Extraordinary People in Ordinary Places. Jerrod, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Paul, for bringing me on and for giving me the honor of speaking to your audience.
Well, we are thrilled to have you. Are you ready to begin?
Let's get after it.
All right. Question number one. What is the one piece of advice that you would give to a first-time author who is currently writing their book?
I give that one some thought, and I would say don't listen blindly to everybody else's opinions. Not everybody's going to identify with your story or your topic or think it's the best idea, and ultimately it's your book. You're the one writing it, so follow your heart. And for me, I had a 21-year police career. I was traveling around the country teaching law enforcement classes, and my book has nothing to do with that. It's completely opposite of people telling you to get in your niche and stay there. But it felt like it was what I was supposed to write, and I loved writing it, so I went with it, and I've had some success. So follow your heart, and not everybody's entitled to have an opinion that really matters to you.
Exactly. If it feels right for you, then as long as you got one person that has your back, that's all that matters.
Yeah, I agree. And everybody's looking for something out there, and who knows that your story may reach them, but if you don't ever share it, nobody will know.
Exactly. Well, what do you feel is the hardest part about getting published?
For me, I think the hardest part is just knowing that you're creating something that's out there forever, and avoiding the everything has to be perfect before you step forward. You're going to make mistakes. There's going to be things you would do in retrospect differently, but you've got to take that step forward to learn and get the experience. So I would say that was the hardest thing, is just not trying to be perfect on every single level, because there's things I couldn't possibly know until I stepped forward.
Well, let's talk about marketing. So please share a marketing strategy that you have used in your book launch that has worked well.
Tap into your existing networks. If you're fortunate enough to be active on social media, your community networks, your workplace, wherever you're involved, look for the movers and shakers in there. Look for the people that have connections, and let them know what you're doing. Don't be shy to tell them you're writing a book and it's coming out here. My strategy was grassroots. I just went through my natural organic networks, and most people are excited to help you share something that they know has been a dream of yours, and it's worked out well. I didn't spend a ton of time trying to recreate the wheel there.
So what were some of your main strategies that you did, and then what were you utilizing? Were you utilizing email, LinkedIn, Facebook? So what were your methods?
Well, I was fortunate enough to have already been speaking around the country, so I had a pretty good website that I could post it on there and get some interaction, a lot on LinkedIn, email, and then I set up actually community meetings and stuff where I would bring the book and people could come in and we would have coffee and discuss it, and that actually worked really well, doing like small little town hall type meetups, and then we did a formal book launch where we had a nice catered event, and just kind of made it something to enjoy. And I guess for me it was fighting the urge to shy away from, hey, I've done this, to actually saying, like, look, I actually wrote a book. I've done this. I put everything out there, and being proud of it.
So town hall events, what exactly is that? And then what was your process to get people there?
Same kind of thing. I just would reserve a space at my favorite coffee shop, or if we were in a different town coaching or speaking, I would find another place that kind of meshed with me business-wise as far as small, local, independent shop, and I would just put out on all my social media that I'll be down here, from this time to this time on this date, and I'd love to interact with you and share stories in the book and get to know you better. And people were actually kind of craving that human interaction, and it worked really well for them to spread the word about the book as well.
So during these events, were they basically almost like a book launch type of party or sign-in, or is this more of a let me tell you about the book sort of thing, or what was the process?
Yeah, no, it's more like a signing, and I think instead of relying on somebody else to set it up and hoping like, a big bookstore found value in it and running through that, I just did it on my own. And I really enjoyed getting to know the people that wanted to read the book and letting them see that it's possible, and that not everybody has this perfect life. Not everybody comes from all the ideal backgrounds, and that if you want to do something, just get out and do it. And don't, like I said earlier, don't wait until everything's perfect. Sometimes you got to take action and adjust on the way.
And these are mainly at coffee shops?
Yeah, I love coffee. So that's one of my vices is coffee. So yeah, I did a lot of coffee shops.
Got it. And how many people typically did you have attend the town hall events?
I would say between, the small end we had 4. The bigger ones we had 25, 30.
Nice.
It just depended on, honestly, it depended on if I had been to that town multiple times. Because some of the speaking I do, they'll bring me back multiple times, so I have a better network. So that one would be bigger. If it was my first time there, it might be smaller. But I honestly I enjoyed sharing my story and getting to hear how that story impacted others or hearing their stories.
Got it. Well, as you mentioned, it's a grassroots event, so it connects perfectly.
Yeah, and it's outside my niche. A lot of people didn't think I should write this book. They thought I should stay in law enforcement, write something that I had 21 years of experience about, but it wasn't what I wanted to do, and I'm proud that I did it this way.
Well, speaking of books, I'd like to know what is your favorite book and what was the number one thing that you learned from it?
I had to give this one some thought because I do enjoy reading and I have a lot of books, but one that really stuck with me is Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. And that hit me at a time in life where a lot of my contemporaries were kind of settling down and being very conservative in life. And his message of you own your life and you own the mistakes and the good and the bad really kind of framed that I needed to do more things in my life and I had to fight the urge to be comfortable.
And for a final question, what is your favorite quote and why?
Whether you think you can or you cannot, you are usually right. And I'm a big believer in self-confidence and believing that you can accomplish a lot and not being afraid of it. So it just goes back to that mindset of what you believe you can do, you usually can. And if you don't believe in it, it's probably not going to happen for you.
Reminds me of one of my favorite quotes by W. Clement Stone. With the mind a man can conceive and believe, it will achieve.
Absolutely. It all starts there. If you can see it, then you can start to do it. But if you're doing activities but you don't see yourself being successful with them, it's hard to overcome the mental block.
Definitely. Well, Jerrod, I want to thank you for being a guest on the show. What is the best way for people to find you online?
I appreciate being here again, Paul. Right now, my best place is LinkedIn, Jerrod Hardy on LinkedIn. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram under those names. And reach out. I'd love to connect and learn people's stories. It's an amazing ride we're on.
Jerrod, thank you once again for being on the show, and I wish you all the best in your author journey ahead.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Paul.
Thanks again for joining us today. To learn more about how to get your book published with a proven system that works, grab a free copy of my book at getpublishedpodcast.com.